What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with Dark Outpost, and I suppose we can't be surprised with anything from mainstream games journalists anymore, as Ghost of Tsushima continues to have an incredible launch, selling so much more than anyone thought, sold out almost everywhere, while The Last of Us 2 continues to sit and rot on the shelves. Ghost of Tsushima has the highest user rating of any PS4 exclusive in history. Yet mainstream games journalists are trying to excuse that away. They are trying to make excuses for The Last of Us 2, but of course the research is incomplete. So why don't we help them out a little bit? Take a look at this article here. Ghost of Tsushima is getting review boosted by Last of Us Part 2 haters. Now this is coming from Game Rant from Callum Williams. Now I've got a bone to pick with Callum Williams because, simply put, this is an incredibly lazy story. And we're going to do all the research that this dude should have done before he sent this to the editor, because this is absolutely hilarious. A new theory posted online posits that The Last of Us 2 detractors are purposely giving Ghost of Tsushima perfect review scores on Metacritic. Again, whenever we see these articles, it's never about positive review bombing for The Last of Us Part 2. No, they talk about all the negative review bombing for The Last of Us 2. And again with Ghost of Tsushima, we're not hearing anything about the negative reviews that are there from salty Last of Us 2 fans. No, now we're talking about the positive reviews, right? The positive reviews for people that hate The Last of Us Part 2. This is the narrative they are trying to set. But don't worry. I know you guys see all these tabs I have open. I often have tabs open, but these are here for a reason. We're going to go through these, do the research that this person should have done. But let's take a look at his story first. As many will no doubt know, due to heated debates surrounding the game on Twitter, The Last of Us 2, while heralded by many, hasn't gone down all that smoothly with a significant portion of the series' fan base. Yeah, it's an incredibly divisive game. That is what is going on. As was reported when the sequel released back in June, the game's controversial nature has led to severe review bombing, with players angry at the game's polarizing narrative, setting up numerous accounts on Metacritic to lower its aggregate user score. We have talked about this. Why don't we go take a look? We'll look at Ghost of Tsushima, a 9.3, doing absolutely incredible. Again, the highest rated ever, while The Last of Us Part 2, 5.6. Divisive game, not divisive game. That's how these things work. However, it seems The Last of Us 2 detractors might have just gone one step further with the release of Ghost of Tsushima, with several accounts allegedly being set up purely to give a former a 0 out of 10 and the latter a perfect 10. The theory was brought to light by a user going by the name Bandicoot on Twitter. However, a quick dig through Metacritic's user stats for both games turns up some interesting results. It's funny that you're saying that you did a quick dig through Metacritic's user stats, because I did a quick dig, about 15 or 20 minutes, and I'll show you what I found compared to the little effort that you put into this when writing this article. Now, what he's talking about is this tweet here. People making excuses as to why Last of Us 2 is sitting so low on Metacritic and Ghost of Tsushima is sitting so high, right? Someone says, plus, Ghost of Tsushima wasn't review bombed. Bandicoot here puts together these, which is a bunch of reviews. Now, several of these have many more than just Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2. This one has 5 reviews on their page. This one has 3. Several of them have more than 2, but there are a lot of them that just have 2. A 10 for Ghost of Tsushima, a 0 for The Last of Us Part 2, or a 4 for The Last of Us Part 2, things like that. Good to know. Thank you, user Bandicoot, who, if you go to his pinned tweet, says certified Naughty Dog shill. That's where you're getting the information from. He's a big Naughty Dog fan. He makes no bones about that. Let's go back to this article. The Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima have just under 14,000 reviews each, which is interesting considering The Last of Us released just over a month and a half ago, and Ghost of Tsushima hit the shelves a mere 2 weeks ago. First of all, you're an idiot. You are completely wrong. What are you talking about? Ghost of Tsushima has now just over, he wrote this a day ago, this is 14,000. The Last of Us 2 is nearly at 140,000. Are you kidding me? You're a fucking idiot. They both have just under 14,000 reviews each. How stupid can you be? One is at 140,000, one is at 14,000. I'm sorry. From any point on reading this, can anyone take this seriously? My God, you clearly have no idea what you're talking about. Which is interesting, considering Last of Us released just over a month and a half ago. So he's trying to say that Ghost has an abnormally high number of user scores, failing to consider The Last of Us Part 2 has 10 times that amount. What an idiot. To put that in perspective, Spider-Man has 6,000, Horizon Zero Dawn has 8,000, and God of War has 15,000 over their entire lifetimes. Now, I would expect Ghost of Tsushima to slow down. I doubt it'll crack 20,000 total at this point. But it is clear that there were a lot of people that had problems with Last of Us Part 2 that played Ghost of Tsushima that maybe weren't intending to and wanted to give it a positive review after everything that happened. I don't doubt that that is the case. But your idea here that you posit is so stupid. Maybe I shouldn't be making much fun of you. Maybe you're mentally handicapped. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe Game Rant's throwing you a bone. I don't know. This is the tweet that we were talking about that says it was review boosted to stick it to Naughty Dog, right? Game already has higher number of user scores than Uncharted 4, GTA 5, Spider-Man. Those games sold way more than Ghost of Tsushima. Many accounts have reviewed the new releases only to have 2 games on their record, Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us 2. Now, this is where we're going to get into the research that you should have done. The research that you should have done. Because you're saying there's a lot of people out there. Oh, it's being review boosted. There's people out there that have given it a 10 while giving Last of Us Part 2 a 0. Well, I'm going to show you the other side of that because I'm not going to deny that that's happening. But you should make it clear that it is happening on both sides, but you don't because either you're too stupid or you're too biased. Let's go right here. Ellie, The Last of Us 2. There you go. I wonder what they're going to think about it. We see here, Last of Us Part 2 was given a 10. Ghost of Tsushima was given a 0. Both accounts, or both reviews were given on July 20th. What do you know? What about this person? Thor Moore. Ghost of Tsushima, a 0. Last of Us Part 2, a 10. A month apart. But still, a 10. Created just to give Last of Us 2 a 10 and Ghost of Tsushima a 0. What about this person? Mart86. Last of Us Part 2, a 10. Ghost of Tsushima, a 0. Both were given on July 20th. I mean, how more clear can it be? Sora, 1991. 10 and a 1. Right? Both given on July 18th. Now look at this person. What his review for Last of Us Part 2 says, good game. It's better than the first Last of Us, even better than Kingdom Hearts 3. It's long, has a lot of details, like Red Dead Redemption 2, Skyrim, and God of War combined. An awesome game. Ghost of Tsushima, not the most greatest game on the planet. This game bored me, not a good game. Well said, both given on the same day. Gil Galad, I can't read what this shit says, but Ghost of Tsushima gets a 0, Last of Us Part 2 gets a 10. What do you know? I'm going to keep going because we have to show the proof. We have to show the proof because the games journalists out there evidently can't do it for themselves. So we will do it here on this channel. That's how it goes. Now, Cy Sticky Blade with his profile picture right here. He is at least given one more. He gave a review to Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Now, he gave a 10 to Last of Us Part 2 on July 1st. Then, July 17th, evidently he played all the way through Sekiro, gave it a 1, and then gave Ghost of Tsushima a 0 the day after that, right? That's what Cy Sticky Blade did. Juanito, Ghost of Tsushima, a 0. Last of Us Part 2, a 10. These are the only things on these people's profiles. Austin268, this one's good. A 10 to The Last of Us Part 2. Best stealth I've ever played. Animations and sound are also good. The plot tells about the other side of revenge. What about a 1 for Ghost of Tsushima? Boring plot, good fight, terrible Japanese stylistics. Stealth compared to Last of Us, 0. Don't recommend. Here we go. Pelapoju69. Ghost of Tsushima, a 0. This game is nothing compared to The Last of Us 2. Ghost of Tsushima is basically AC Samurai Simulator. Last of Us 2 gets a 10. But we're not done. We're not done. That guy, Dave. Now, he did give a review to Death Stranding in 2019, so at least we know he does something. Look at this comprehensive review. Then he gives a very short review to The Last of Us Part 2 on July 17th, a 10, and a 0 to Ghost of Tsushima on July 18th. I think it's very clear to understand where we're going with this. I took literally 10 or 15 minutes to collect that data. That's it. That's all that you had to do, Callum Williams, for this. But evidently that's too difficult for you because you're a games journalist. I understand. Overall, it seems as though some players want to get a message to Naughty Dog that they're unhappy with The Last of Us 2 story and are review boosting Ghost of Tsushima to send it. That being said, Ghost of Tsushima has been a huge success financially. Yeah, of course it has. And we'll just end here with one more image. This is The Last of Us Part 2 sitting in stores right now. This is Ghost of Tsushima. There's one copy sitting there. Now, I'm surprised he could find one copy because almost no one can. I took some videos today. I'm going to have a video coming out soon showing The Last of Us Part 2 rotting on shelves while Ghost of Tsushima is sold out virtually everywhere. But it is so clear the bias that these games journalists have and the stupidity. I pointed out the stupidity of not understanding simple numbers. 140,000 compared to 14,000, but that's okay. Again, we're grading on a curve for games journalists, but it is very obvious what is going on here. Yes, there's always going to be review bombing on both sides, but you have to be honest about it. You have to admit that that is what's happening. But the majority of the reviews tell the true tale. And the fact is, Last of Us Part 2 is a divisive game. Ghost of Tsushima is not. Ghost of Tsushima is a huge success, even though they didn't necessarily expect it would be this big. It's going to continue to sell better because they need to make more and get them out to stores so people can actually buy it. It's insane what's going on and that people continue to try to make excuses for The Last of Us Part 2. I will not let them. I will keep talking about it. Oh, shit, I didn't even have... Let me get my shirt. I didn't even have my shirt. Fuck Naughty Dog. We're not gonna let them get away with this. We're gonna keep telling you the truth about The Last of Us Part 2. What do you guys think about this? Make sure you smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I will talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.